What?
Who you f***ing tonight?
Hey, you might find out. Yeah, he gotta get your number.
You get my number in the ass in the sand. Hey. Oh, it's cold. It's cold.
Hey, that's my baby girl. Don't talk to her like that. That's your girlfriend? Hey, let me tell you something. Hey, that's wifey, boy. You might have to reevaluate. She over here showing us her shit. Let him out. Hell yeah.
For the sake of younger ears and proactive minds, certain words have been watered into the term ice cream and ice cream eating. In a world as big as ours, there's a lot of beauty to be found in it. You look to the left, you see the trees, you look up, you see the clouds, right? It's a lot of beautiful things in the world. Take the beaches of Gambia, for example. The picturesque destination has a lot to offer. Many tourists are often left fulfilled with the experiences, right? You also get to meet new people, and if you're lucky, maybe...
Alright, now this video, y'all gotta stay through this one. This one the crazy one. I found this one, so it's like, I gotta bring it to y'all, you feel me? So this basically showing you why British women, they vacation in Jamaica for the BBQ. The BBCZ, you hear me? They be using us, fellas. They be using us. Not in a bad way. In a good way. So they vacation for the beach, yeah? And not just in Jamaica. They go other places in the States too. But just know, a lot of them SnowBunnies like the BBCinos. You hear me? Let's get back into that. Look into the video.
Fall in love with a local woman who might turn out to be the love of your life. But I have to ask, is it really all this colorful? Everything I've just described, it sounds like it came straight out of a Hollywood movie, right? But what if I tell you that what's hidden behind all of this beauty is a side of tourism you might never expect? Possibly a side which you never considered before. A side that sees STDs. A side that sees cheating rampant.
I leave their husbands in the UK, come here and have fun with a black man, and then go back to their husband in the UK, yeah.
And a side of heartbreak, leaving many people in over their heads in dangerous situations. What am I talking about? Well, let's look at the bumpsters of Gambia. Imagine yourself on Kotu Beach, all relaxed. You're probably wearing palm print shirts. You have a shade on, and you're staring at the beautiful setting sun. A couple passes in front of you. It's a young local and a white woman who's probably old enough to be his mother. You might remove your shades and stare at that scene for a while before probably brushing it off as just luck on the woman's side. She's bagged herself a younger guy, right? That's what you're thinking. At that moment, you see, you weren't exactly wrong to have viewed them in that way, right? But there's an unspoken dynamic between those couples you just saw. A dynamic that sees the local being termed as a bumpster. By definition, a bumpster is someone that's known as a beach boy, who is typically a young man that is a member of the host community. This person frequently hangs around tourist areas and they pretty much prop the older woman up like a mechanic and they change her oil. If you get what I'm talking about.
It's a different song now.
This for y'all out here who like them SnowBunnies, you hear me? Yeah, I'm just saying I'm bringing it to y'all because I know y'all like them, you feel me? Ain't nothing wrong with liking them, you hear me? Just do it, you feel me?
For these bumpsters, their ideal target, as you may have guessed from the couple you seen earlier, is older women. Many of these crusty old women travel to Africa from the West in search of beach boys to date and pay for sex.
They be dropping that bag to our bed, but because a lot of them rich, you feel me? So they be dropping that bag. Some of y'all probably can go do a couple of sessions and end up starting the whole business and everything off the money you get. I ain't advocating for that though.
Yeah, it's the excitement.
It's just entertainment.
That's
Hey, stop.
fun.
The truth is that most of these young guys, they don't even like these crusty old women, and they're pretty much just doing it for money. But why would anybody want to be a bumpster in the first place? I mean, in the name itself, it seems like it was coined from the word bum and dumpsters. But like most things, right, you've got to look at the economics behind it, right? Many of these beach boys that you're seeing are dropouts who stopped schooling because they believe that being bumpsters pay more than an average job.
I've seen a lot of white women, older white women with young Gambian guys out here.
I know what the Gambian boys are up to. Better way of living. Because all of them are living not so good. In a room, no cupboards, just a bed, nothing. So if they can find a woman that they can, all a woman wants is love and they can give them love, they're going to do it. They're just looking for a way out.
Yeah, they hustler.
I mean, all you've got to do is see the size of their customer.
That's basically they hustler. That's they hustle. You feel me? Like, man, bro, cause they struggling. They like, hey, this a come up. You feel me?
To understand how much money these guys are making. If you know anything about Jamaica, you know that there's never a shortage of crusty old women along the shorelines of Jamaica. In Jamaica, for example, the men have developed a reputation for being able to keep going for an hour. Someone who went on a Jamaican trip said this: on weekends we had off, so we'd go to the beach and these young men would walk up and down the beach. They'd do push-ups, they show off their muscles, trying to woo us. You'd see them with these old hag women at restaurants and shops. It was so bizarre. So far, we've seen a side of tourism that we never usually see. But what about the people who frequent these tourist areas? What about the women that go? How about we take a closer look at the deluding culture of hedonism? Hedonism is a movement that began in the 5th century BCE when Aristippus, a philosopher, began to advocate for a life full of sensual pleasure. He maintained that the greatest good in his life was the pleasure of the moment. In modern-day Jamaica, there is a resort dedicated to the teachings of our wise hipster. We get a good glimpse of this resort from the story of a woman who goes to this pleasure resort located in Negril, Jamaica. It turns out this resort was actually built by the Jamaican government, meaning that whatever goes on in this resort is entirely legal.
Come on, get up. Get up. Come on, what are you doing, lady? This how you doing it?
What's wrong with it? He said that it comes with it. That's what everybody does when they come to Jamaica.
No harm, my friend. Come on. You see that he ain't have to smack it.
You get one too.
No, what, man? I don't want no massage from him.
You get one too.
Come on, I seen the slap. I get the rub.
You have a female to do for him?
Yeah, I'm sure, my friend. You want a girl to come and do it?
Yeah.
And a lot does go on in these resorts. Some of these things this woman experienced in her time were full frontal nightly swinger parties and many more levels of depravity. It wasn't uncommon to see an all-girl action going down in the room next to yours. After all, many hedonist centers like Hedonism 2 are gender insensitive. One can always find love in any gender he desires. And if that wasn't wild enough, right? Many people as young as 19 are encouraged to try out this resort and almost advertise to them like it is the new arcade that is down the block. Married couples are swapping with other people to do things. They're doing some Sneeko stuff. They're doing some Adam 22 stuff.
Well, let me tell you, don't go to hedonism in Jamaica because that's a swingers resort. And you'll be sitting by the pool with your... It's a hedonism. It's a swingers resort. And you'll be sitting with your wife and a man will politely come up and say, hey, could I f*** your wife? Or could you f*** my wife?
And we'll pull out a 10-inch on your wife and you got the regular 6.
No, they don't got to pull it out because you can't wear clothes back there. So you can't bring your phones and you can't wear no clothing. It's a sign.
Been there before?
Yeah.
You have fun in there before?
Yeah.
Oh my God, let's talk about that. And you had in there before?
I did.
And we see some even revisiting these centers, claiming that they never miss a year. Quite the way to keep the love burning in a relationship.
So I'm super nervous. I can't imagine, but if I meet someone cute, I would love it. It just feels like it's gonna be a really straight experience, and I'm not in a very straight mood.
Greetings from Jamaica. I am currently in Negril, Jamaica at Hedonism 2, which is a clothing optional swingers resort. To be completely honest, I was extremely nervous walking into this place. Didn't really know what to expect. All I knew was that people might approach me to have with me, and I was gonna see a lot of people. So far nobody has approached me, but probably because I'm very standoffish and cold, so people don't feel comfortable approaching me.
Research reveals that most women are likely to use protection when partaking in hedonist practices. Going back to Gambia, many of the old crusty women we talked about are more than happy to engage in unprotected action with these beach boys than with their spouses at home. After all, they get paid good money, and they want to enjoy the feel. Per their words, it isn't every time they get to moist with someone who isn't their husband who can last more than 10 minutes. A man named Stanley Gottlieb alleges that the women do things here that they would never do at home. They eat the ice cream without the plastic. They walk along the beach drunk and get into cars on their own. As you can see, a lot of crazy things are going on in these hedonist.
Now, y'all married. Your girl taking these trips to Jamaica lazy. Just know she might be getting the lazy. You hear me? Hey, yeah, so y'all better be careful.
Censors, right? And by men and women who believe in a hedonist lifestyle, what if the high of these resorts isn't really good enough for you? Then what do? Exclusive Love Cloud Charter Jets. There's something called exclusive love charter jets, and this is how far people can go for pleasure. Here, thirsty mile high clubbers charter a love jet at a cost. They charter this jet to have their thirst quench exclusively.
Mile High Club and don't risk getting caught. Sounds too good to be true, right? Well, a new service is offering flights just for at 30,000 feet. Love Cloud, that's what the new jet service out of Las Vegas is called. It offers a 40-minute flight over Sin City to commit a few sins of your own. The aircraft is a Cessna 420.
Don't get on that one. I'm telling you. Cause if God judgments hit while it's in 30,000 in the air, don't get that high in the air and decide to commit sins. When you that high in the air, that's when you want to repent. Do not get that high in the air and commit sins, because God somehow his judgment hit. I'm telling you, don't. I'm just trying to look out for y'all. Don't sin that high in the air. That's the time you repent, okay? But let's keep it going.
Dubbed the Golden Eagle, redesigned with a custom-made foam bed for lovemaking at the highest altitude.
Yeah, that joint, I'm telling you, y'all gonna hear some crashes from that joint. I'm telling you, I ain't.
And as you can imagine, most of these swingers also eat the ice cream without the plastic on. While the pilot glides through the clouds, passengers are getting frisky in the back, trying to get full value for the $995 that they paid for 45 minutes. For those with deeper pockets and even longer thirst spells, they could get a good 90 minutes up in the air for $1,000 $495. And you're probably wondering, how is the pilot able to fly the plane in the midst of these ice cream eating stuff that's going on? Well, for his freedom and comfort, the pilot gets to put on noise-canceling headphones with curtains blocking his view. According to the pilot, some of these passengers are people who with themselves after they get cheated on by their spouse, newlywed people, and people who just can't get enough of the experience and book a time extension. There is a lot of crazy, down bad stuff going on in our society. A lot of people would do anything to satisfy their never-ending pleasure cravings. And because of this, we have to take a look at the global market of tourism. Beyond Gambia and Jamaica, there are many tourism destinations with very much darker sides. Cuba, for example, has a long history of tourism, with its most popular venue being none other than the famous Havana. On this tropical island, it isn't uncommon for you to come across many janiteras who are pimped out to tourists. By the way, the escorts are called janiteras. For these janiteras, prostitution is unfortunately their way of survival in a system that has failed them. Similar cases can be seen in places like Sosua Beach in Dominican Republic, where prostitution is legal, encouraging many women to engage in ice cream eating practices for cash. As we've seen comprehensively in this video, a lot of things can go wrong in tourism, especially in places like this where the man holds the financial power.
What's her name? What's her name? ¿Cuál es su nombre?
Bonita.
Who?
Bonita.
Bonita.
That's not her. Bonita means beautiful in Spanish for those of y'all who don't know. She just saying something. She's trying to get some money from dude, bro. And I got a bone to pick with a lot of you passport bros, because a lot of you passport bros ain't nothing but tricks, bro. Y'all go over. I ain't talking about all the passport bros, and I ain't talking down on the passport bro movement, but I'm saying a lot of y'all ain't nothing but tricks. The reason y'all go over there because y'all can't get no girl over here, right? And then y'all go over there, move the girl over here. The girl over here gets Americanized and then leave you again for a dude who got money out here. You feel me? Like, she right here, you can obviously tell she not interested. She ain't even giving them her name. My name Bonita, but just give me some money. Like, she don't obviously want to rock with dude. You feel me?
So far, we've covered tourism and the risk involved. Now, what about the darker consequences of this? How much deeper can we go down this rabbit hole? I think it's time we take a trip into the darker side of tourism in Jamaica. It shouldn't come as a surprise that the mental health of many of the parties that are involved in all of this can be at risk. These beach boys are drooled on by older tourist women, with people treating the issue as a cheap laugh. This is why many of these cases involving beach boys being exploited do not get the same coverage compared to cases where women are the ones being exploited. As you can imagine, such a lack of care by society for these beach boys can leave many of them feeling worthless.
Come marry with me if you want. You don't have to ask your family. No. They say all my girlfriends who are married with black men.
No. But here, when we want to marry, and you hate my family.
I don't hate your family before, but now I don't want, because they are. It's criminal to say you have to pay house. You have to pay house.
You have the husband and you.
It's a crime.
Husband's family.
Of course, I am not a shit brat, because I have paid your water bill to $8,000, and do you think I hate your family then? But now I don't want to speak with you because you are asking me very nasty way, buy the house, buy the car, and then they say he can't marry with you.
In some cultures, like in Jamaica, it is taboo for a man to engage in ice cream eating with his mouth. Unfortunately, many of these men are left with little choice but to engage in it for as little as a hot meal and a place to sleep. Also, the high frequency of unprotected ice cream eating in these regions has led to HIV/AIDS becoming sporadic among the beach boys, with 20,000 adults and children of the Jamaican population living with HIV and AIDS.
The Ministry of Health recently reported to the UN that nearly 1 in 3 young gay men in Jamaica is HIV positive. This is 20 times higher than in the rest of the population.
Yeah, which is the sad thing that happens when you eat ice cream without the plastic on. Through many of these examples, we see the role poverty and negligence plays in tourism. It's no wonder developing countries are the ones that are dealing with this majorly, right? As for the female tourists in Gambia and Jamaica, many of them get heartbroken sometimes from being emotionally attached after the marathon ice cream eating. According to one report, the women are left wondering what's going on. Sometimes the men stink, but the women like that. In fact, they actually ignore it. Sometimes they wonder why these men are no longer interested in them, feeling them to feel that their vulnerability has been exploited by these beach boys. In some extreme cases, many of these female tourists decide to move to Jamaica to start a life with the beach boys. And as you can guess, this is when things change for the worst, as many find themselves in extremely abusive relationship with the very men who treated them like queens when they first met. Andrea Johnson, a Negro police, would say that the relationship ends up sour and we have to intervene. I've seen some nasty domestic violence towards the white women who move in with their boyfriends. The men sometimes steal from the women or beat them when they run out of money. In one story, a victim, Carrie, who found herself not being much attractive to men back home, she gave up her job, moved to Jamaica, and died abused by these men. Many of these beach boys often have wives who they've gotten pregnant, only to abandon them with babies and go on about their bumpster activities. This just shows the thought process of a good number of these beach boys. For them, it's a numbers game. Nothing else matters but to hit it. The ultimate goal of these bumpsters is to have themselves flown out of abject poverty by these old crusty women filling visa applications for them. So what would this say about the men and women who are wrapped up into this tourism game? Conclusion. Well, for many of these beach boys, prostitutes, and pimps, it is simply business. They take extra care to ensure this truth is kept secret from the tourists whom they've convinced that it's just beyond the money. As for the tourists themselves, most don't see themselves as predators, with many holding the beliefs that they're simply helping out. They see themselves often as white knights who, thanks to their financial muscles, are able to save these poor local guys from their harsh situation at a price. In the end, it is all a delusion and a house of cards that often comes tumbling at the slightest breeze. Tourism says a lot about our society and how much we have allowed degeneracy and exploitation to become normalized. It has gotten to the point where men don't need to stress themselves with the logistics of the whole affair, resulting in a culture of mail order brides that have seen thousands of women exploited and abused. And deeper, more sinister setups. Human trafficking rings have ensured a never-ending supply of prostitutes for the rich and powerful to abuse. The sad part about all of this is that despite everything that we've covered, we haven't even begun to scratch the surface of the issue. What we can say at this juncture is that we live in a complex world that is full of twists and surprises. So next time you're on vacation in all the parts of the world and you see a crusty old woman prancing and walking around the beach with her beach boy, keep an eye out. They might be eating ice cream.
They out here eat ice cream? I got a new saying now, bro. They out here eat ice cream. Hey, no, but that's crazy. That's wild, bro. All I can tell y'all kings, man. Be safe out there, kings. See you guys next video. Let's get it, man.